They have something very ecstatic to speak about. And that is the divinity in life, the divinizing of life, the spiritualization and devotionalization of our life. Alaukikaha vadanti. Whenever they meet and talk, they will only speak about God. There is a devotee in Bangalore who lost her son, a grown-up son, soon after he passed the engineering examination and got employed. You can remember, one day the boy was missing. They looked for him. The mother went up on the terrace. He lies dead. He had drunk poison. Can you imagine the grief? Within a matter of 2 or 3 months, the couple came here, the parents, and I started talking to them. Their contact with me started. She used to telephone me. I should say, Swamiji, I am still having grief. Is it not less? Yes. But whenever I feel grief, I feel the cooling sensation from the feet, your feet, which my heart imagines. I said, it will take some time. After all, you are a mother. Maybe at least give at least 1 year. But before the 1 year, she started becoming so peaceful and joyous. She used to listen to my talk, particularly the Gita Tattva Samiksha talk in Trichur. All the cassettes, all the CDs she will get and start listening. And you know, the wonder of it is that she has learned all the verses that I used to recite. She now says that I have only one wish, that I must constantly get swimming and dipping in these waters of ecstasy. Not only that, she has started developing a flair for speaking to others about it. Now she has also started giving some Puranic discussions, at least talk to the others. All in a matter of 1 or 2 years. Can you imagine? Vadanti alaukikaha. She says, nothing else is pleasing to me, delightful to me. And my son, whom I lost, I call him my teacher, my guru. It is because of him that I have developed this spiritual inclination, she says. They belong to a good family, pious family. Kwajit rudandyachyuta chindaya, kwajit hasandi nandanti vadandya laukikaha, nrityandi gayanti anushilayantyajam. See? That manifestation becomes more pronounced. Previously it was with the mind, sometimes with the mouth, and sometimes in the form of worship through the hand and materials. Now it becomes an expression from within. It is no more an effort or a cultivation. It becomes a spontaneous, natural, irresistible flow. And what all does it do? Nrityandi. The devotee starts dancing, clapping the hands and also dancing. Gayanti, loudly singing. Anushilayantyajam. Whatever God has done in different incarnations, or our scriptures speak about Him, we start emulating it in the form of putting on dress, etc., etc., etc. Some people who come to the ashram, they say, their little children, sometimes they start saying that, I am Lord Krishna and I am blessing you. The child lifts his hand and puts it on the mother, saying that I am Krishna, I put it on, I bless you. Like that, Anushilayantyajam, they start copying the immortal Lord. But all these are physical, mental and intellectual expressions. They will come to a stop at one point of time, he says. Bhavanti tushnim parametya nirvritaha. When they are able to attain that absolute divinity in the form of a comprehension and realization in their heart, they naturally are led to a state of poise, stillness and fullness. Bhavanti tushnim parametya nirvritaha. Attaining the supreme divinity in its absolute character or measure, they become quiet and composed. I am reminded of a few verses here. I will recite them and explain to you. What are they? I told you that devotion initially becomes a habit or a conventional practice, primarily focused on the body, hands, etc. Then slowly it starts getting elevated into the tongue. Wherever you are, you start chanting or reciting the name of the Lord or songs. Thereafter it goes into the mind, occupies it in the form of imagination. Then it becomes an inquiry in the level of the intelligence. And finally you understand, comprehend and realize the supreme truth in the core of your own heart. Then you become silent. All these expressions vanish. Samshanta sarva sankalpa ya shilamtarivastidihi jadya nidra vinirmukta sa swarupasthiti sprada. This is from Yoga Vasishta Ramayana. Vasishta tells Sri Rama, just see, Samshanta sarva sankalpa. Sankalpa means imagination, crisscross thoughts and assessments. Everything that the mind and the intelligence do goes by the name Sankalpa. Samshanta, all that imaginational flair, everything becomes settled, quietened, appeased. To which extent? Ya shilamtarivastidihi. Are you following me, my dear viewers? Are you following? I am speaking about your own mind, not about any other factor. Now the mind is crowded by crisscross imaginations, expectations, ambitions, aspirations, desires, greed, possessiveness, competition, jealousy and what not. All these will subside in their very source. Ya shilamtarivastidihi. And then you will attain a state which is resembling whatever is inside a hard piece of stone. Inside a hard piece of stone, you press it, it will not shrink. No movement will be there. Like that. Jadya nidra vinirmukta. It is free from jadya and nidra. Nidra means sleep. Every one of us sleeps. And in sleep also, deep sleep, there is no thought, nothing inside the body. Except bodily, circulational, respirational functions, there is nothing. Is it something like that? No. Then is it something like that Jada Samadhi? A state of oblivion which yogis reach to? And not being able to evaluate, they continue in it for years and decades? No. There is neither jadatva nor nidra, sleep. Neither is it inert, nor is it deep sleep. Sa swarupasthiti smrita. There is such a state of awareness, such a state of cognition, such a state of comprehension, where you will sit the whole inside will become luminous. There will be a radiance. That radiance you will be able to feel palpably. It is neither light nor darkness. It is neither white nor the other colors. It is neither vibrant nor is it still. It is neither inside nor outside. Every word and description will become untrue of it. It is an indescribable fullness, placidity, beatitude and restfulness. Our body rests, my body rests on the chair. Where does the mind rest? Where does the whole universe rest? You will be able to reach that wonderful splendor on which everything rests. It is devoid of jadya, inertness, nidra, sleep. Ya shilamtariva sthidihi. Whatever sthiti or state is there, inside a hard piece of stone or a rock, that will be your position. Unshakable, unassailable, undislodgeable. It is a state of abundance, fullness, radiance and luminosity. This is what I can say. Samshanta sarva sankalpa ya shilam darivastidhi jadya nidra vinirmukta sa swarupasthidhi smrita. This is actually the character and nature of everyone's inside. You know, the mind has no color. The thought also has no color. Emotion has no color. In spite of it, you will find we are having a number of thoughts which give you the idea of a color or many colors. The source is different from all this. See, the mind feels so much of delight and exultation when there is intimacy and fondness you feel towards the Lord. My one question to you viewers is that, are you fond of God? Or are you fond of the family members? Tell me, which fondness is greater? God is the one source, one refuge, one sustenance for you and your family members, for your wealth and health. Should you be fond of Him more or should you be fond of these things more? Arrive at a decision. So never pray to God for anything. Then you have belittled yourself, your devotion, and belittled your God also. Bhavanti tushnim parametya nirvradaha. This state of silent fullness and abundance will come to you at the end of devotion. Pratyak vimarsha adishayena pumsam prajina gandheshu palayiteshu pradurbhavet kachidajadya nidra prapancha chintam parivarjayanti. This is a quotation from Yogatharavali of Shankara. There it is a knowledge pursuit. Sreemad Bhagavata here was projecting a devotional pursuit. In the knowledge pursuit, we are not trying to become fond of God. We are trying to go delve inward and further inward. Where from are thoughts arising? Plurality of thoughts. Where from do imaginations emerge from? So there is an inquiry. You go deeper and deeper, as it were, and finally you reach at the source. Shankara puts it in this manner. Pratyak vimarsha atishayena pumsam. Reflect upon. I. What is this I? Where from does it come? I say everything is mine. Good, mine. Bad, mine. Everything seems to be mine. The body, the mind, the intelligence, the ego. Then what is this I? The nominative. That you try to inquire, deliberate, debate, sink, delve, search, seek. Everything you do. Prajina gandheshu palayiteshu. By virtue of this solitary, sweeping, solemn, sublime inquiry into yourself. Prajina gandheshu palayiteshu. All the latent tendencies of your mind simply will take to heels. Nothing will remain at the end. This one desire for the self becomes so powerful, wholesome, consistent and unbroken that everything else irresistibly comes to a stop. Pradurbhaved. At that time will dawn Kajid, something. Ajadya nidra, something like sleep, but with no inertness or unawareness. You will be sitting, closing your eyes and virtually sleeping. But the neck will not droop. In sleep, what happens? There is no thought in your mind. There is no feeling of I and another. The feeling of duality is not there. Only when you wake up, you say, I slept. In that sleep, I alone was involved. Sleep is an intransitive verb, so there is no object there at all. Here you will find there is a wonderful awareness, a radiance in you, devoid of the subject-object distinction. Are you following me? Subject-object division or distinction. Pradurbhavet kājid ajādya nidra. It is called ajādya nidra. It is a sleep. But what? Wakeful sleep. Wakeful sleep. You know that you are. In sleep you don't know. Prapancha chintam parivarjayanti. At that time, there will be no thought of the world or anything like that. No secondary existence or factor will ever be felt. Pratyak vimarshadishayena pumsam prajina gandheshu palayiteshu pradurbhavet kājidajādya nidra prapancha chintam parivarjayanti. There is a Kashi Panchakam which Shankara has composed. There also you see how all the external notes vanish and you suddenly spring up with internal, inner, finer things. Mano nivritih paramopashantihi sa tirthavarya manikarnikacha jnana pravaha vimaladi ganga sa kashikaham nijabodharupa. Mano nivrittihi paramopashantihi. We generally go to what? Rush to Ganga, Bhagirathi, to have a dip there. Now Shankara says, Mano nivrittihi, the nivritti, the recede, the receding of the mind. Throughout the wakefulness, the mind is expressive and it becomes extrovert. Now, by the thought and introspection of the self, what happens? The mind begins to recede. When that recession becomes true, paramopashantihi, you get the supreme quietude. Every time the thought springs up, a feeling of duality comes. Either there is desire, or there is hatred, or there is fear. Now here, because there is a recession, all that vanishes. Sa tirthavarya, that is the most holy water. Manikarnikacha, the holy ghat called Manikarnika in Kashi. Jnana pravaha vimaladi ganga, that is the one which is going to give you spiritual subject wisdom. And that subject wisdom, once you have it, it will remain constantly flowing. Every time the I in you never disappears. All actions are predicated of the I. So everywhere the I is extending itself. Like that here you will find this knowledge becomes a constant, unbroken, unceasing flow. Vimaladi Ganga. It does not require any further purification. It may purify, but it is not purified. Sa kashikaham nijabodharupa. That Kashi, I am. Kashi is known for purification. Itself it is constantly pure and it purifies. Nijabodharupa. The content of this Kashi is bodha, awareness. In the form of a cognition, a comprehension, a kind of a sentience I have. Mano nivrittih paramopashantihi sa tirthavarya manikarnikacha jnana pravaha vimaladi ganga sa kashikaham nijabodharupa. Why did I say this? Only to indicate the finale of devotion. Devotion may be initially in the form of practices associated with the bodily limbs. Later on it becomes an absorption. Finally it becomes an expression in the form of exhilaration, etc. Still further you reach the state of beatitude and quietude. And that is clearly explained in our Jnana Shastras and self-contemplation. Iti Bhagavatam dharman shikshan bhaktya taduthaya narayana paro mayam anjastarasi dustaram anjastarati tarati dustaram narayana paro mayam anjastarati dustaram. Prabuddha practically concludes his side of the narration. What was he trying to describe? Bhagavata dharmas. And his exposition was unique in that he was listing a group of 28 characteristics of superb devotion. One after the other he started speaking, and everything has been explained now. And devotion is supposed to produce a lot of vibrant manifestations in the devotee. This also I explained to all of you. Do you remember them? Now, when the devotion culminates itself, fulfills itself, you will find all these vibrant expositions will withdraw themselves or subside. And you will find bhavanti tushnim parametya nirvritaha. The devotee will attain to superb or supreme quietude and absorption. So devotion generates a lot of thrill, ecstasy, horripilation, exhilaration and the like. All these are to purify your system, the biological body as well as the psycho-intellectual inner personality. All of them will be practically purified, and ultimately you will find as your life breath is, as the blood circulation goes on, so also you will find the knowledge and the awareness and realization, the experiential continuity of godliness will also be. And that time you will find you become quiet to the supreme note. That quietude, beatitude and absorption, these are the ultimate levels of devotion. Iti Bhagavatam dharman shikshan bhaktya taduthaya narayana paro mayam anjastarati dustaram. By virtue of this devotion, Prabuddha says, the so-called inscrutable power of Maya, which has manifested the whole creation, it is very, very difficult for anybody to overcome it or cross over it. Dustaram, very difficult and hard to overcome. That Maya will completely be overcome. What is the reason for it? Narayana paro. The mind will constantly dwell on Lord Narayana. And that constant dwelling becomes responsible, which becomes very useful, a very efficient tool in the matter of overcoming the Maya, which is very difficult to overcome otherwise. Now, after hearing Prabuddha's dissertation, Nimi Chakravarti again raises a question as he has been doing. Rajo Vaja, Narayana Bhidhanasya Brahmana Paramatmanaha Nishtam Arhatano Vaktum Yuyam Hi Brahmavittamaha. See how Sreemad Bhagavatam blends devotion with the superb notes of wisdom. So far it was devotion, devotion and devotion alone. And under the head of devotion, Prabuddha listed something like 28 characteristics, virtues and excellences, I said. Now, Raja is asking another question. You have explained to me what is the devotional nishtha, the wholesome and the comprehensive one. I would like to know how this nishtha compares and contrasts with Brahmanishta, the Jnananishta. Is there any difference? Srimad Bhagavatam you will find always clubs and amalgamates, fuses devotion with dispassion and spiritual wisdom. The three are the constituents of human spiritual attainment. What are the three? Devotion to the Supreme Imperishable Lord, dispassion to the perishable and evanescent world, and a full knowledge of what godliness and the soul is. This is what the three are. Now, true to the spirit and purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, through Raja, King Nimi, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam is raising a question. Narayana Bhidhanasya Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha. He says, Narayana Bhidhanasya Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha. Three words are used here. One is Narayana, another is Brahma, and the third is Paramatma. Now the Paramatma, the Parabrahma and God, all the three are the same.